everything is fine in terms of audio and video. I'm going to go ahead and start the webinar right away. So the topic of today's webinar is how to do SEO for a new website. So let me start with a bit of background story of why we choose to go with this topic for our first webinar. Apparently, we do SEO for SaaS startups for a few years now. We have worked with over 50 companies so far. And on top of that, we have encountered with a few hundred more who really could not start SEO with us or could not start SEO at all. And almost 9 out of 10 times, the reason behind why they could not start SEO or why they were not confident of starting SEO is, first of all, they thought SEO is expensive. Secondly, they thought SEO is not for them as of yet. Most of the companies that we have talked about, they are either very early stage software startups or software startups there who are not in the break even yet. So SEO came to be a very expensive, very low return or late return marketing method for them. And that's where they stick to other marketing methods like paid ads, social media marketing, affiliate marketing, and whatnot. But the reality is really not like that. SEO could be started right away by a newborn SaaS startup, even without an agency. If you have a founding team where there is someone to take care of the business development or marketing side, and if that someone is not from a SEO background, they can literally implement some strategies and at least prepare a very rock solid ground for everything SEO. And for that, again, you don't need to hire any agency or a freelancer or so. You can literally get started by your own, given that you have the right guideline. And the entire point of this webinar is to provide you with that guideline so that you can start SEO journey by yourself and eventually scale it up whenever the revenue or the finance side supports to scale up SEO. So there are three parts in this entire webinar. In the first part, we're going to talk about what kind of perspective and expectations you should set towards SEO as a newborn SaaS startup. First of all, to compare it with other marketing channels, no offense to any other marketing channels at all. Each of them have their selling points. But SEO happens to be inbound, where a lot of other marketing channels are not. SEO is sustainable, which means you can invest into SEO for now, your time and money, and then keep enjoying the results down the line, where something like paid ads is not sustainable. Paid ads stop giving you results the moment you stop swiping your credit card, for example. In terms of ROI, SEO is very high in terms of ROI, and it also compounds. So the result from the last month will actually add to the result of the next month, and eventually will take you to a compound and cumulative collection of traffic and revenue increment. And one problem about SEO, which is absent in a lot of other marketing, is a front-heavy process, which means you need to invest a lot of resources in the very first few months without that much results. But the results will start showing up in the later months while your effort is not necessarily needed to scale up that much. So it's a front-heavy process, but later is going to be, it's a I would say, proportional relationship down the time when it's about the result of SEO and the amount of effort you are putting into SEO. Having said that, there are 4 pillars of SEO for someone who is not into SEO. This particular slide is for them. First pillar is content. Second is backlinks or mentions in other websites about your websites with a do follow link potentially. And the third pillar is your website's technical optimization, which mostly includes your front end and back end development, your code base, your schema markups, data, and whatnot. And finally, another pillar, and this is pretty much ignored in a lot of ways, but this is very important, which is how reputed you are in the internet as a company. So these 4 pillars or units that combine into SEO success for any company. Doesn't matter if you're a SaaS or an e-commerce or a local business or any kind of website. Really doesn't matter. These 4 pillars, they remain to be the most important factors in SEO. Now, let's look at the expenses side on a very typical scenario. If you want to start SEO today, and if you want to see how much it would cost you in a couple of years, and given that you don't have any budget constraint or you are not, holding back the expense side, you want to spend as much as it requires you to, you kind of have to spend on an average $30,000 to $50,000 in the first year, and it remains pretty much on the higher side than that in the second year. And in a couple of years, you maybe will invest a gross total of $100,000, which gives you a monthly cost of about $3,000 to $5,000 every month if you are not tight on your budget. Now, spending that much money, you might wonder about the returns and what should be your outcomes out of this investment. Since it's a marketing channel, there has to be numbers held responsible against these investments. And if we consider the typical traffic to sign up scenario, which is like 1 to 3%, you'll see the first quarter, you'll probably have a monthly traffic of under 1,000, which will be about 10,000 on average in the end of the first year. And from 10,000, you should expect 100 or 200 signups, given that you have a 1 or 2% conversion rate. At the end of the second year, you'll probably sit on top of 50 to 70,000 traffic with a monthly new user of 1,000-ish every month. And this is being added on top of the previous user that you have acquired. So since you are a SaaS or a software, your user base will be compounded. And at the end of the second year, you'll most likely you look at a total traffic of about 60,000, and your user base should be somewhere around, if I'm not wrong, it should be around 8 to 10,000. Now, given that the minimal amount of unit economics metrics, if we consider that your average subscription cost is $50 per month for every paid customers, we are looking at least 120K USD of revenue every month. So if your subscription is less than that, you can do the math. If it's more than that, that also will come into the play. But if you compare it with the SEO cost, it's being kind of linear comparing to the amount of MRR growth you'll see from SEO, considering that your subscription is $50. Also, if you consider your LTV is $2,000, that means from a user, you'll get on average $2,000 in their lifetime. That can be related to the company valuation. So what this graph says is your company should be valued at $5 million or somewhere around that ballpark if the same SEO investment goes on, and if these numbers actually can be achieved, this traffic, these conversions, if they can be achieved, that can lead into a $5 million valuation at the end of the second year. Once again, valuation, it can be counted for a lot of other metrics. We're just trying to simplify things in terms of your new revenue growth, month by month revenue growth, month by month user acquisition versus the kind of valuation you should have. Moving on, having said that, this kind of results is enough to give SEO a shot. And now in this webinar, we're talking about how to do the first groundwork of SEO by yourself. Let's move ahead to the technical parts of this webinar, where we will talk about each of the pillars of SEO. To get back to the pillars, the first one is backlink, second one is content, and the third one is your reputation and technical SEO. So we'll start with the backlinks, and we'll talk about how you do backlink or how you build a good link profile, being a new SaaS and without investing low to no money at all. So why backlink is important? For those who are familiar to SEO, you might already know that more quality backlinks means better ranking. If you can see at this example here, we're talking about tier1ai.com, and as you can see, the moment their total referring domains, which means the total backlinks, went up, their organic traffic also went up, and their organic first page rankings is also seeing an upward tick. So this is to some extent related to how many good referring domains or how many good backlinks you are having, and that can directly affect your total traffic or your first page ranking in total. Also, if you look at the particular search result of a keyword like accounting software for contractors, you'll see that the metrics that are related to backlinks, DR, UR, and total number of domains that's pointing towards your website, these numbers, they work in your favor if you're considering how high you can climb up the search result. If you see the higher results on the search page for this keyword, they have typically a higher DR than others, and a URL rating is also higher. And most importantly, these particular pages have got backlinks from these different websites, where the 8, 9, 10, or 12 pages, they haven't really got that many backlinks. So it's like a proportional relationship between where you rank versus how many good backlinks that you have. Moving ahead, if backlinks is that much important, why shouldn't you invest $300 to $500 per link, which is the market standard? The answer is we don't have the budget for it. As a new startup, you might obviously not have $500 to spend into one backlink, given the fact that you might need to invest into a few hundred backlinks to see this kind of DRUR or this kind of backlink profile. So the next part covers what else you can do to increase your backlink profile while not spending this kind of money, which is the obvious for regular backlinks. So we have got three methods to solve this problem here. The first one is you can list yourself into a lot of software directory websites, and software directory websites like SaaS app, they usually have a very strong DR. Their traffic is also good. And if you get them listed, get listed over those platforms, you'll probably have a do follow or no follow backlink to your website. And most likely, in some of the cases, they're free. In some of the cases, you need to pay a one-time or yearly fee. But that's totally worth it, given that the value of the backlink and also this listing can get you some exposure as well. In this slide, there is a complete list of every directory that we think you can list yourself for free or maybe for a small fee, and then get a good backlink from them. The next method that we will suggest is to launch your product really well. A good product launch can really emphasize your backlink performance, or a good product launch comes with a lot of good backlinks. Typically, for example, in Product Hunt, if you're listed as a product of the month or product of the day in their top 1 to 5 list, you'll probably get a lot of natural backlinks because there are so many directories or websites, blogs that will scrap you from Product Hunt, and then they will cover you as one of the top XYZ category products. That usually comes with a backlink. For example, we are looking at Den in here, who were the #2 product of the month in May 2025. And if you can see, in the same timeline, they got a very good uptake in their domain rating and their total number of backlinks. So these two are very relevant. They happen in pretty much the same timeline. And that's a good sign of, that's the benefit of being in the top 5 list in a product of the month calendar by Product Hunt or any other similar platform. And the third method is going for partnerships. Again, partnerships can be with any platform or any software, also sometimes agencies or directories, where you get listed as a partner in their website and you also list them as your partner in your website. I've got this example from a couple of Shopify apps. One is DSR, which is a drop shipping tool. They got listed in Pagefly's partner directory with a backlink of 4, and DSR also listed Pagefly as one of their partners. So as you can see, each of them provided a backlink to the respective other, and that is obviously helping them out with their backlink profile. And all three methods that we have talked about, except for launching is always, it's up to how well you are strategizing your launch. But the first and last method is mostly free. If you put substantial amount of effort, you can go ahead with a lot of partnerships and a lot of software directory listings without spending a dime. So that's literally the best go-to solution to build links as a newborn startup. Grab this list from in here and figure out with whom you can partner up, outreach to them, make sure there is a give and take deal between them, and then see your backlink profile growing. Next on, this is the summary of what we have just talked about. So we can, I think, pretty much get it from here. The next chapter is about the content side. So far we have covered the backlink part. Now we are going into the content part. And we'll start with talking about the entire map of content that you should worry about as a SaaS founder or a startup founder. It's not directly relevant to SEO. We'll go into that part later. But this is the overall content marketing strategy that you should keep in mind for your SaaS company. So there are in total 5 funnels: awareness, interest, consideration, conversion, and loyalty. Uh, Among these 5, the first 4 is before conversion and the last 4 is after conversion. So the last 4 pretty much covers every documentation or support articles or white paper you need to write to make sure your users are sticking with you. They're retaining as your monthly users. And the first 4 is all about converting someone with maybe low to mid to high buying intent into a paying customer, into a credit card swipe. So it starts with awareness, where you need to write a lot of informative contents. It goes into interest, where the user has a slight intent of buying, and they're more looking forward to solving problems instead of buying a product. So you can write all these how-to articles. You can create a lot of templates, calculators, tools, and you can keep doing newsletters and webinars, which is intended to solve a problem for your target customers. While solving the problem, you can place your product, show off your product's capacity and features, and eventually draw their interest into going further into the sales funnel. The third stage is consideration, where you are talking to people who are ready to buy a tool like you. They just need some kind of social proofs, could be in form of reviews, case studies, testimonials. They also might need to switch from a competitor. So articles like competitor alternatives, they also act as a content for this stage. Also, you can do a lot of contents around your product's features or solutions, or based on your target customer. So they also can be into this stage. We have examples of each of them. I'll show later down the line. But once they're done with reading all these contents, the next obvious action will be purchase, right? Conversion. They'll pretty much convert for your product, making sure that they have been convinced or they have been confident enough about your product from all these articles. The next stage is conversion, where there are 2 types of conversions. One is from a bare traffic. They're signing up for their product, and as you are a SaaS, you might have a free tier. So from that free tier to the paid subscription, there's another conversion, and that also is the most important one. That also brings food to the table, right? So these 2 conversions has to be addressed with this kind of contents. And most of the time, these are not contents that just gets published on the website. These are personalized content because you have their emails and contact details. So you can send them emails, you can invite them into webinars, you can do inbound drip campaigns, and eventually expect some of them to get converted from free to paid. And loyalty we talked about. So this 5 funnel stages, each of them have different contents into their belt, and each of these content types also are very specific about whom are you talking to, at what buying stage they are, and what kind of contents you should write to push them towards the CTA. Next on, we have a bunch of examples along with SEO potential. So from the entire map of every kind of content that you should do, we are now moving ahead to those particular contents that actually will perform in SEO. Not all of them will obviously perform in SEO, right? So you need to find out the content ideas that have some kind of keywords along with it, and also there's a volume, and there is a sizable enough keyword difficulty, which is easy for you to beat. So this table contains only those content ideas which have SEO potential. So starting from calculators, you can see there are a bunch of tax calculators that have these volumes, and the difficulty seems to be low. I have also added a particular SaaS which has created a tax calculator as a middle of the funnel content. Same goes for other content types like free tools or templates. You can see there are keywords that is acting as a lead magnet in the middle of the funnel stage. And I have also added an example of a SaaS company like yours. So you can keep browsing through these keywords. You can also go ahead and find yourself some keywords and see who are creating contents like this, and then get inspired for your own contents. So from calculators to free tools and templates, you can create these contents by yourself. You don't need a writer. If you're a SaaS founder yourself, you have your in-house developers who should be sufficient to create these contents and get the SEO benefits out of it. Same goes for the conversion-driven contests as well. I mean, the first type of conversion, which is from traffic to sign up. So you can write all these competitor alternative articles. I've added a few examples like Zendesk alternative, HubSpot alternative, and literally Zendesk has written some of these contents about their direct competitors. So it's very okay to bash your competitors in one of these articles and present your product in an authentic way where a frustrated intercom user gets converted into Zendesk by reading this particular content. So another three examples I have in my hand for conversion-driven article is feature-based landing pages, solution-based landing pages, and ICP-based landing pages. The example of first one is an example from Bismay. They have got a 3D GIF maker or GIF maker as a page, and this page is ranking for all these keywords with this crazy amount of search volumes. So making 3D GIFs is actually a feature of Visme, and they have created a page around it, and this page is ranking for this lucrative keywords. Solution-based landing pages also are similar. Let's say Zendesk is a customer support software. They have created a page for ticketing system, which is ranking for inbound call center solution, inbound call center solution, or variations of this keyword. So this is the solution that they can offer to an ICP called call center. And if you create that pages, that will most likely bring on a few features of your product. It will talk about how combining all those features, a call center can create an inbound solution for their ticket handling, and that also could be ranking for all these keywords. And finally, ICP-based landing pages, where you specify a particular industry, department, or a designation, and create contents that talks to those particular ICP. And obviously, it promotes your product and how well they can serve to that particular industry or designation. And there are actually keywords for that as well. Let's say CRM softwares. A lot of real estate people search for CRM softwares by typing real estate CRM software. The volumes are great. So what Pipedrive did is they specify industries, and one of the industry pages is real estate, and that kind of got them ranking for these keywords. And the conversion should be good as well because it's very specific. This content is very specific. The keyword intent is also very specific. There should be a decent amount of conversion for these pages. So these three pages you can create around your products, features, solutions, and who are your target customers. And these are usually landing pages, not blog posts or so. So if you have a good UI along in your website, you should be able to create one and then replicate the same UI for other contents as well. All you need to do is just write those copies and add some creatives on top of it. And I think you can pretty much go ahead with this with a marketing intern also. You don't really need to hire a full-fledged writer for this. So last tip, which is mostly about running, webinars or inbound drip campaigns or release notes or transactional emails, which is technically this particular content group. This really don't contribute to SEO directly, but if you keep doing this, you'll actually have a lot of passive benefits to SEO. You'll have a lot of direct visitors. You'll start to develop a search volume for your own brand, and your audience will be scattered throughout every platform, not just search. And that's always a good thing for SEO. The differentiator between a real brand and a fake brand who's trying to scam out SEO is a real brand has presence in everywhere. So if your user keeps coming from a lot of different directions, that will definitely act as a catalyst for your SEO. So the last part, which is the technical SEO optimization, and there are two parts of it. One is technical SEO optimization, and another is optimization for LLMs or chat-based search engines. So in the first part, you'll see the checklist in here, and this directly can be handled by anyone who is a developer or DevOps. And I've just made a quick list in here, and there is a complete list of this task list as well with very descriptive instruction. So you can grab it from the slide later down the line. And also the same, a similar kind of task list has been developed for LLM optimization as well. Just a quick note about LLM optimization. This has been a very new thing that SEOs have been trying to move into. But so far, based on the data we have or based on the success stories we have seen in our clients, there are two kinds of optimizations you need to do for your LLM optimization. First is a technical optimization, which is all about crawlability, how well the ChatGPT and other LLMs can crawl and understand and relate to your contents. And second is a content level optimization, where it's about how well you are optimized for an LLM to pick up an answer or cite you as a source. So there are pretty in-depth guidelines for both of them in here. Feel free to go ahead and grab it from the slide. And with this, I think my presentation or webinar ends in here. Happy to answer any questions or concerns, or maybe debate about some part of what I said in the comment. But for now, yeah, that's it. Thank you.